Hi there, this is Trisha, and I'm going to go over the trade that I took on Thursday, February 12th. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to record right off of my platform, and hopefully you'll be able to see the bars. They won't be too small, so if they are, then I will go back to the way that I've been doing it. But I've had some requests of people wanting to see both charts or three charts at the same time, so I'm going to try that and see how it works out. So anyway, I use two setups off of two tick charts, but I use three charts for confirmation with indicators confirming entry before I ever take a trade. This is a conservative approach to trading, and you can check those out at www.easyminitrade.com. Okay, so this is a trade that I took at about 9:51, and we have our scalp indicator setting up here, and we have divergence on our indicator, price going sideways, indicator going down. Our trend line is above 20, right here where this 1 is. 1 here, and then 1 over here on this bar here is actually the trade that set up on this bar here. And the bar above it closed below both moving averages. So we hop in the trade, get filled in this bar here, and got filled over here at 813.75, and I use my trail stop method on pivot highs and pivot lows for my stops to move my stops. And all this is of course based on one contract. I trade more than one contract, so I exit in stages. So what I'm showing you is based on trading one contract. I just wanted to point that out again. So anyway, I don't have the indicator that I like on Sierra for pivot highs and pivot lows, but you can see just by looking at them, they're right where they're at. They're very easy to pick out. And what I do is I go a quarter point above or below. Of course, in this case, because we're short, we're going to go a quarter point above there, which actually this is the same quarter point above there, here, 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 and actually got stopped out over here at 810.50 for a gain of 3.5. I wanted to show you this trade. This actually was a scalp that was setting up here, and trend indicator is above 20, and right here on our longer tick chart where I have the number 2, this is the bar that it was setting up on. That was at 10:16 in the morning, and this bar was not complete yet. So on this bar here, we don't know if it's going to close above or below because it's not complete yet. So there's no setup when this bar completes. So this bar actually did close just above the moving average, but it doesn't matter because the setup was already setting up before it closed. So there was no entry there. So you would pass on that. That's just how I would do it. I would not take it. I know in the past I have taken trades where that bar is not closed, but it's a higher odds trade usually when it's like a pullback or something into resistance. Right here, we don't have any compensating factors in my opinion, so I would wait for that bar to close, and then, so let's say this bar closed where number 2 is, and then we got this setup. Yeah, then you jump on it. That's, that would be a good trade. So that's why you would pass on that trade. Okay, the next setup that occurred, I want to show you why we didn't take this. And of course, if you were able to take it, it was, a huge run at the end of the day. But what you have to remember is you don't know when something is going to be a runner, especially when it's coming from the bottom, of the daily lows and so forth. This is the bar on the longer tick chart that it's set up right here where I have this arrow coming from. But, when that sets up, you do have a long scalp indicator setting up here. You have divergence, price going down, indicator going sideways. Trend indicator is above 20. But, using our setups, and of course there are many different ways that people can enter, and this is just based on the setups that I use. So I'm not saying that you couldn't take this trade just based on, all my indicators being in alignment. I would not have taken this trade. It's set up at about 309, and this is the bar that it's set up on, like I said. And at this point, you really don't know that this is the bottom. you are above the one moving average, you're not above the second moving average. So let's say that we got above the second moving average and then we had a setup, then great, you can take that trade. Personally, I would wait until it would have gotten above the low from the day before, but we didn't get another entry because everything's remained in overbought territory on any of the scalp indicators that set up. So you would not jump on board, using my setups. Now, again, it's definitely easy to look back and see when something works, but you do have to remember that you really don't know what's going to happen. So yeah, this was a runner, and if you were able to jump on another way, then great. I know some people that take, the break of the trend line, and that's great. If that falls in their plan, then they had a huge gain. That's awesome. But again, at this point, we're still in a downtrend, so I would pass. Realistically, I would not consider us in an uptrend until we got past the low from yesterday. So again, that's just my style of trading, and if you got on that, then great. I mean, that was a huge trade. So I just want to point out why we would have passed. When you do look at our smaller tick chart, you can see different setups occurring here with our scalp indicator. But we're already in overbought, and we're not coming from oversold, and we're not coming from divergence. So you really need to pass on those because, just because it ran this one time doesn't mean that every time that you get this setting up with everything not being in alignment that it's going to work out. And as I've said before, you can have compensating circumstances, but I really didn't see any here, so that's why I would not have personally taken that trade and why I didn't take that trade. So anyway, I took one trade today for a gain of 3.5, and you can check that out at www.easyminitrade.com.